Hey everybody, I'm here with Wayne and his beautiful daughters, and my name is Catherine. I'm just doing the filming at the moment, and we're just going to have a bit of a yarn about just prior to the accident. I'm going to get the girls to introduce themselves. Maybe start with Wayne's eldest daughter. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
My name's Kayla Williams. I'm Wayne's eldest daughter.
And
I'm Tara.
And
Youngest daughter.
Tara's the youngest daughter. Okay, and Wayne?
Yeah.
Dad's in the middle.
Yeah, I'm me.
Yeah. And just, girls, if you can just give us a little bit of insight, just how life was and Dad just prior to when the accident happened.
Probably have different views. Do you want to go first, Tara?
Well, I lived with him. He worked a lot, 6 days a week.
So Dad's a bit of a hard-working man.
Yeah.
Always on the go.
Dad's the minute he left school, he walked onto a job site. He's worked every day of his life, 6 days a week. Before the accident, he was, well, he still is, very much my youngest daughter's only father. So he did a lot of co-parenting with me, so my daughter's father wasn't around. Just before the accident, he was going pretty well, very well. He was had a lot of heartache before that with certain women, and he just was getting his feet on, living his own life, single life, going on trips with his mates and things like that. So, yeah, he just found his feet, it seemed like, and then this happened.
Wow. So from all accounts, Dad's hardworking, very family first, always kind of keeping the nuts and bolts of everything together and being a supportive dad and role model for grandbaby. And, and then that day happened where the accident happened, and you guys...
I think it was a Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
It was, all I can remember, what the boys were saying, was a really, really hot day. And I was driving my machine, because I drive heavy machinery, like big machines, and I think it was a Saturday I was going, I had to change from one machine to another, and as I was taking one machine back, I just had an accident, someone just, both machines collided, sort of thing, and then I don't remember too much after that, but I don't think I've ever been knocked out before, but I definitely was knocked out this time. I think my head went bang bang, and something went through my head because all the top of my skull was ripped open, and so the boys were saying they were taking turns in holding my head because they didn't want to move me because they thought I'd break my neck or something, and so they were just taking turns jumping in and out, holding my head, and they said blood was just pouring out, and just not a good scene. And then, I don't know, the ambulance took a long time to get there because there was no street signs marked, because, there was nothing on the road, so I don't know how long it took to get there, but we got there and then I woke up in the hospital. So the girls really know more about it than I do from there.
So there's kind of pieces of the puzzle that are still a bit...
I've just been told by the boys, they don't tell me everything, but they've told me a few things, and so it was pretty hard for them, That's the worst thing about the injury. It doesn't affect just me, it affects the whole family.
Yeah.
It's not like a broken arm or a broken leg. I've had plenty of those, got over it,
Yeah.
This injury doesn't stop. It's been nearly 3 years, and I think the first year and a half, absolute nightmare. And it's only been the last 6 months that it's still been, every day's a struggle, but I wouldn't say it gets easier, but it gets, it's not easier, but you get to learn to live with it a certain way, and that's how you get through your day. So, but it just doesn't stop. And the worst thing is, seeing my friends and my girls and everyone else go through the shit, that they had to go through to watch me get back. So I was lucky, I was lucky in a way. I had a lot of good people after the accident that have helped. people that you wouldn't expect to run into. If I didn't have the accident, I would never have met them. So I was lucky with that. But the hospital part, the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, a total blur. And then I got moved into the brain injury unit, and then I think that's where the started to begin to get better, you know.
Yeah.
Took a long time, but nothing was happening in the hospital till I got to the brain injury, and then everything fell into place. But the girls can tell you more about the hospital early days than I can. Well, like when I got to the hospital, I wake up and Kayla was there, I think, and I think they wouldn't let Tara in because it was COVID, was it?
So this all unfolded while we were in the height of a lockdown.
Oh, I didn't even know about it.
Right.
I didn't
Hospital was in lockdown still, yeah. We weren't in lockdown, the hospital was.
Okay, so it's still very strict conditions
Yeah.
in the hospital.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing.
Because I think they would only let one of yous in,
Yeah,
wouldn't they?
the whole time he was in there.
I don't know.
Never got exemptions when he was in the hospital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
took a week or so.
And that's because he couldn't cope. They
Yeah.
needed us there. The nurses couldn't handle him on their own.
Well, I mean, in one way, I guess Dad having that fighter spirit is probably why we're here now having this yarn, is because of that particular fight in you. Can we take a moment, girls, just to reflect on when you got the call?
I got the call.
You got the call? Yep.
And I think it was Brad, and he said there's been a bad accident and it's not good. And then he said they're on the way to the hospital. He'll be at Liverpool. I called Kayla and she got there before me, and by the time I got there, Kayla was already there and they wouldn't let me in. They made security escort me out.
Oh, that must have felt horrible for you.
He sat next to me to make sure I left.
The security person.
Yeah.
And how did that make you feel? That must have been horrible.
I even said he could die, and they said, they kept saying we'll ask, and they kept coming back saying no, you can't go in.
I'm really sorry that happened. I think a lot of people during those times had horrific
People
experiences.
didn't get to die with their loved ones.
Yeah. And so your sister's outside, you're in with Dad.
Yeah.
Were you just like updating her by phone?
I think I can remember running through to acute. I didn't know what acute was at the time.
Yeah.
And someone stopped me and said, no, you have to go into this room, because he'd just come in, I think, and they were assessing everything. And then I walked in, and he was, he seemed, I knew he'd had a bad accident, and he was talking normal, 100% everything. He was fine. Not fine, but compared to the next day,
Yeah.
he was himself, 100%. He was like showing me the flap on his head. He kept saying to me, you need to go home with the girls, like go look after the girls, don't worry about me, I'll be fine. And then they started explaining to me that the first thing they were explaining was they had to take all the blood thinners out of his system, so his heart was going to stop. So they said, we're basically going to have to kill him and bring him back with this medicine. But he beat the 10% chance, and he didn't. He stayed alive. Nothing. His heart didn't stop. Nothing. He was okay with it. But that's very rare for that to actually happen. That they were expecting to, like, his heart to stop.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when they started telling me about brain injury, and no one explained. Like, she explained to me tomorrow he'd be different, but no one explained to me that when he went to sleep that night, he wouldn't wake up as my dad the next day.
Wow.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have left. But no one explains in detail about brain injuries. There's no one in the emergency room that sits down with the family and says, this is what's going to happen. I think it was probably, even when we got up to the ward, that it was more about insurance and everything like that at first, before someone actually sat us down and explained it properly. Because it was all legal matter at first with them. I remember having to sort out a lot of legal matters when I first got up there, but no one explained that to me.
The police wanted to interview Dad, but he wasn't in a state to be interviewed, so the police kept calling as well.
Yeah.
Wow. So that basically would have felt like harassment.
They
Or
called me.
did it,
Yeah.
like, did you
Tara
wonder why they were wanting to interview Dad? Like, he's the person that's had the accident.
Because they sent I can't say
team.
that on camera, can I?
Say what?
When they sent the person to the work site and they got that weekend, literally a couple of days after Dad's accident, they sent someone to that job site to assess it, and they got they could see that the job site was not safe, so they got some order thing.
Oh yeah, they would have got a warrant or
whatever,
something to be
and
able
they
to.
have 7 days to fix it. So I think because of all that, that's why they wanted this police report.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know if I can say that. But yeah.
That's the truth, so I can't see a problem with that.
Well, I think the thing that.
We can always edit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't remember.
So can we go in a little bit more to what you meant by if you had known that Dad wouldn't wake up as your dad the next day?
So basically, what I've learned is when people have a horrific brain injury, their first sleep, after that, they normally go to sleep because they don't sleep after a brain injury. So what I've learned is they normally go to sleep for up to 4 or 5 hours. They wake up, and while they've been asleep, their brain is literally gone like this in a washing machine. So when they wake up, they're sometimes non-verbal. All the rest happened, and I didn't believe it though. I didn't. Not that I didn't believe it, because I'd seen how my dad was that day. They didn't explain to me that he could wake up non-verbal, all the rest of it. They just said he's going to wake up very different. So no one explained to me how different he could wake up.
What kind of information would have been useful for you girls or the family to have that would have been on the hospital grounds? Because I guess the thing is that Dad...
Even an information sheet.
you know
what I mean?
Exactly.
Nothing was given.
Because that Dad just always goes into details about how much this has had far-reaching consequences and an impact for you as the family.
There was definitely not enough information. But I suppose when there's an emergency, I don't know, there was just not enough information. I think every brain injury is different. That might be the case.
Did they offer you a hotline that you could call to get some counselling support? Nothing like that?
No.
So this is probably something that you would hope that they would want to set up to be able to support the families.
In the brain injury unit, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They were amazing.
No.
But
you're talking about when you guys kind of initially
happened.
Came into the hospital and the lack of information that would have been really helpful.
I remember screaming to his ex-partner, and I do not get along with her. And she was a nurse, and I remember she kept calling, but me and her don't talk, and I was screaming, Lisa, please, answer me. So I get, because I just had no answers in my head.
She was a mental health nurse. She doesn't know that kind of stuff, though.
But for me, it was that's how desperate I was.
Just to understand and have that clarification.
Yeah.
Okay.